He sent the wise men to Bethlehem to find the young child who was 2 years old at the time. This isn't his birth. None of this story is about his birth, okay?
This is so funny as well. The reason nobody's ever made that statement is because these two periods of time are 10 years apart, but because he's taken my misspoken number as fact, he's actually presenting this as a 2-year gap. Do you realize how stupid and intellectually dishonest that is? That he's using my incorrect data to pretend that this is the case. Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Emma. This is not where I expected to be at the start of 2025. If you've been around the channel for a couple of years, you'll have all the background that you need. If not, don't worry, I'll catch you up to speed as fast as I can. Today we are talking about Whack an Atheist. Whack an Atheist was a series that is pretty much self-explanatory by the title, in which a noted creationist evangelical, Kent Hovind, he'd pick an atheist either debunking some creationist theory. His favourite is picking an atheist debunking himself, because then he can get into a back and forth, and that drives, I presume, more traffic his way. Most of this doesn't apply anymore, for reasons I will explain in a minute, and also why I'm so annoyed to be here. Long story short, this man's flavour of creationism is so stupid that even the creationist community at large openly criticise him for making their stupid movement look even more stupid. He has been spouting the same idiotic theories for, I don't know, 50 years at this point? Possibly longer. So there's the generic problem, the problem that I first stumbled into when I was told I should take a look at his videos, which is the general intellectual dishonesty of spouting theories that you have had debunked to your face hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, if not more. He has engaged in countless debates, all of which he claims to have won, which just proves a theory of mine that largely debating has little effect. He will have these views debunked, and he will come back the next day spouting them as if nothing happened and nothing ever changes. It's either the most hilarious example of Dunning-Kruger I've ever witnessed, or he knows that what he says is complete nonsense, but he is such a charlatan, and he is a charlatan, that he has always made money and had success by dishonestly peddling these theories his whole life, and so why would he ever change? The things he is most notable for, again if you aren't familiar, is his 10-year stint in prison for his tax evasion, financial crimes, and more recently his conviction of domestic violence against his estranged wife. I felt that I had said everything that could be said. At the same time, there are other channels that talk about his content. Atheist Junior reviews his live stream, so there are other places that you can go if you wanted to know what he was up to, if you did find it entertaining to see him completely torn apart because of his understanding of science is completely absent. A big part of his intellectual dishonesty stems around his fake degrees and his history as a science teacher, which is sort of going round to community centres and publishing videos on creationist science for children. His claims of being a science teacher for X years at certain grade levels and stuff are just completely fabricated. His degrees are from known mail-order evangelical universities. I can't decide whether I think he's evil. He's a very, very bad man. He's a bad man, a violent man, from the earliest part of his career when he was bragging about how hard he beat his son because his son was scared of the dentist, all the way through to his conviction of domestic violence. He is just a horrible person, views aside, and doesn't deserve a platform, doesn't deserve to have adoring fans who donate money to him and his enterprises, especially given his track record with money. I tend to reserve judgment and try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'll be a bit spicy and a bit silly and make a joke. But Kent Hovind, I know, is a very, very bad, cruel person who cannot be talked to honestly because he is so dishonest. As a person, as well as intellectually. There is no talking Kent Hovind round. He is too old and too stubborn. He will never change his mind on anything. And he is a horrible, violent, racist, homophobic, cruel person. So I will be much harsher in how I talk about him than anybody else. And I don't care. He's free game. As far as I'm concerned, a man that awful who has done that many awful things and is so dishonest in the pursuit of money, claiming that to be about faith, I don't care. He is one person that I think deserves to be bullied so much more than he is. I think what he has gotten away with through his life is disgusting. Long story short, I was done with him, and then I was kind of vindicated in that decision by Kent Hovind Official, his YouTube channel, being banned. He was gone. Ding dong, the witch is dead. He had had several short-term bans for things like directing his audience to false flag and false report other videos, and he was finally permanently banned. So imagine my surprise when people start commenting and messaging me about how there has been a Whack an Atheist video, or live stream rather, about me again. So I wasn't surprised that he's made another bit of his live stream has been directed at me. He was still streaming. There are lots of like websites that host a bunch of different evangelical streams. Some people do them on Facebook and stuff. I don't know if he was doing anything like that, but I wasn't that surprised that this existed. But I was surprised at the number of comments, and it turned out the reason that so many people were aware that this happened is because he's back on fucking YouTube. I would just like to direct your attention for a second. Here you go, the channel or account terminations page on Google's help. If your YouTube channel has been terminated, you are prohibited from circumventing the termination or allowing others to use your channel to bypass their termination by using or creating any other YouTube channels. This applies to all of your existing channels, any new channels that you create or acquire, any new channels in which you are repeatedly or prominently featured. That brings us to Genesis Baptist Church. That is Kent Hovind's church. That is his new channel. Presumably somebody else with a different email address opened it. This is 100% ban evasion. Did you know that there is no report feature for ban evasion? Essentially what YouTube support told me was that all you can do is go to the channel, report the channel, pick the closest thing you can figure, and then write that they are ban evading, that they used to have this channel, and they were terminated, so they should not be here. I don't have a lot of faith in the YouTube moderation system, so fine. Fine. Let's take a quick break to talk about today's sponsor, geology. That is not, in fact, the field of science that Kent Hovind doesn't believe in. Rather, it is the skin and body care brand that I use every day. You've almost certainly heard me talking about geology before. They are 36-time award-winning now. They've got over 10,000 5-star reviews. They do simple and effective skincare routines designed by dermatologists just for you when you get them. Mine is for me. Get your own. Whatever your skincare goals, if you want to fight acne, reduce oiliness, you just want better hydrated skin, it's super easy. You click on the link down below, take their 60-second diagnostic quiz, you tell them about your skin and your goals. Their team of dermatologists will design a personalized routine just for you, which is then delivered straight to your door. No fuss. Here is my skincare routine. You get this little card with your regimen. As it notes here, it is vegan and cruelty-free. Tells you every active ingredient and how they work. It actually now says on the card, as well as on the product itself, how much to use, which is really cute. I am so bad with things like, this is my night cream. And it specifies on the back, use 1 pump. It even underlines it, 1 pump. Here's the everyday skin wash. It has on the back about this much. I am so bad at absent-mindedly, like, just pumping 2 or 3 times and then being like, oh no. If you are scatterbrained like me, this is the best thing for just making it so easy to actually follow a routine because you don't have to remember anything. If you use my code EmmaThorne70 or click on the link down below, you can get 70% off your personalized skincare trial set. Get yourself a great deal on a great skincare routine and help this channel out. Thank you so much for watching. Back to the video. Ever since he was successfully convicted of domestic violence, I have had this idea. I've been ruminating on how to put this man to pasture once and for all. And I mean that in a journalistic sense, not in a criminally violent sense, because that sounded very sinister. I'm not going to assassinate him. That's not the plan. There was a documentary 2 years ago now by McKinnon Mitchell. McKinnon did a very good job. It was called The Weakness of Kent Hovind. Even that I felt was like too brief for what I wanted. It was good. It had some good interviews. There's just so much about this man. I want a way, and I have some ideas of how to just put absolutely everything there is about him together. His history as a sovereign citizen and his the people he was inspired by and how that influenced him as a sovereign citizen and as a tax evader, as well as an evangelical online preacher, through his crimes, because all of the documentation and the filings and then his counter lawsuits that were thrown out with prejudice because they were so stupid are so interesting and funny. There's just so much to talk about. I have been pondering for a while a good way to just tie the whole thing in a bow in a way that is entertaining and not an overload of information, because I could just make a 3-hour video. That would be a lot. I feel like it's kind of necessary, because there have been so many really good analyses of him, short form sort of documentaries, videos, podcast episodes, but because there is just so much material to talk about, I think, that is interesting and helps build this explanation, I want there to be a place for people to go to learn everything, to understand why this man should not be allowed a platform, should not be granted the gift of an audience of supporters. So that's essentially why I'm back here, because people did message me and say, this is a thing, it'd be great to see you respond to it. A lot of people enjoyed the Whack an Atheist videos in the past. Again, his views are so silly that it is just entertaining, but I also just wanted to give you a heads up that I am ruminating on something to put this whole thing to bed, to put this man to pasture where he belongs. Not that I think I have the power to ruin his career or destroy him or something, more that I want a resource, a really comprehensive resource, rather than just a million different videos and stuff in a million different places. So that is something that I am pondering on. Watch this space. And I won't say too much more about it at the moment because it is largely sort of in here and various Google Docs at the moment. That is Kent Hovind for the uninitiated. That is Kent Hovind for the uninitiated. And for any of the old Whack an Atheist fans, that is the situation that we're at right now. He did get that domestic assault conviction. Hooray! We're going to have to just leave it at that, because otherwise we will be here forever. Such is the problem that I am describing in reporting on Kent Hovind in general. For old time's sake, it's been 1.5 2 years since I did my big clap back. Let's see what has changed and evolved in these last couple of years. How have his views developed? How has his strategy improved? Let's see. This is Open Mic Challenge with Kent Hovind. Evolution is a pagan religion. Prove me wrong. That is one of the stupidest titles I've ever seen. He's been saying evolution is a religion for a long time. It's weird because it's almost trying to make something seem less viable because it's a religion, which is weird for a religious person promoting a religious agenda to do. Kind of feels self-defeating. But it being a pagan religion is new. Something that he's always done on his Whack an Atheist streams and stuff. He would usually pick someone to react to so that he could get the attention and the views from talking about that person, or like almost pretending he might be debating that person. And that'll actually be about 0.5% of the stream. The rest will be stuff that people wouldn't be interested in. So I suspect that's what we're going to see today.
Good evening, folks.
It's always such a professional start as well. So very little looks different from the off. Got his Dinosaur Adventureland sign. He's got like a see-through frame on his desk. This is a slide of his, so this is how he does his shows, right? He has a slideshow. So this is the first, I guess, slide of his PowerPoint presentation for today. Who can just glance at that and read any information? It's so fucking busy. Imagine I just filled the screen with text and you were like, Emma, what's your video about today? Of course they're on Rumble. That makes sense. Brighteon? What's Brighteon? Is that no information is available for this page. Brighteon broadcast news with Mike Adams. Is this some right-wing streaming service? Seen a lot of AI art. 0 views, 2 views. Okay, so it's some sort of shitty religious right-wing streaming service, I guess. He's got his number, his website, just a picture of him, just a much younger picture of him is just on there, which is cringe. His YouTube channels. He's got another YouTube channel. This man is circumventing bans on 2 channels. I never thought I'd fucking say this, but somebody needs to introduce Kent Hovind to Canva. Because like some sort of fucking easy clip art text-based service, because this is a fucking nightmare where God gets glory for his creation is barely legible. Everything's surrounded by a red box. as if that would make it easier to read. In fact, what it does is evoke the red strings on a crazy conspiracy theorist's cork board. At the very bottom, we have November 21st, 2024, which must have been when this was streamed. Whack an atheist, Emma Thorne, again! Hi, I'm still here. I was never banned. Contradictions in the Bible, lowercase c, not very impressive. Does that mean this is the 163rd Whack an Atheist? Or is it like, slide 163 has the relevant information?
Kent Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. Today's November 21st, 2024. We're going to have to do one more
very peaky audio. The audio's always dog shit. He's been doing these live streams for tens of years, I'd say, and his audio has always been dog shit. His video is dog shit. His graphic design is dog shit. This man has been out of touch since the time of the dinosaurs.
Whack on Emma Thorne, and then we'll have open mic. We believe evolution is nothing but a pagan religion, the dumbest religion in the world, and the most dangerous religion in the world is this evolution religion.
This evolution religion is the most dangerous religion in the world, says this Christian evangelical who used his Bible as an excuse to beat his children and advocate other people do the same. Who's been estranged from those children for some reason. None of them want anything to do with him. It's weird, isn't it? While all over the world, people are warring with each other, where women's rights are being trampled, women's freedoms are being completely taken away. The theory of evolution, the scientific theory of evolution, is the most dangerous religion.
Wrong? Prove me wrong. Call into the program. Is there some kind of link on there where they do it?
In the description and in the comments.
Open mic. But first we got...
Even after all these years, this is not his first open mic. He's saying the title like it's a regular feature. In the stream has to be like, can they like click a link, or how do they call a number? Just retire. Just fucking retire. Just leave us be. Abandon the world of streaming for people who have enough brain capacity left to know what fucking buttons to press, or at least to check before you go live. It's so cringe.
Got to answer one more of Emma's so-called contradictions. It's going to take forever and ever. So let me get over to Emma here.
You'd think if it was simple, it wouldn't take forever and ever.
Right here.
Oh, that's a lovely freeze frame of me.
And test audio. I like that picture. Okay, let's see. Emma, go ahead. Take it away.
Me too.
The stories about him, so let's focus in. It's Bible quiz time again. When was Jesus born? Well,
can you get any more volume on that? Or is it me? I got to have headphones, huh?
I look crazy. Pause the video while you're watching this. Do I look insane every time we pause, or is this just really unfortunate?
Okay.
Yes, you've got to put on your headphones, Kent, so you can hear it. Okay? There you go.
When was Jesus born? It says, it depends on who you ask. Okay, let's see, Emma.
it depends who you ask. Matthew, chapter 2, verse 1. Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, aka Herod the Great, died in 4 BCE. Write that down. But according to Luke, chapter 2, verses 2 to 3, this is where he is talking about Caesar Augustus's census. This was the first registration when Quirinius was governor of Syria, which would have been sometime from 6 BCE. The described periods in Luke versus Matthew are at least 10 years apart. Most apologetic scholars simply believe that Luke made an error, though there are plenty of reasons to believe that both Luke and Matthew are ahistorical tellings of the birth of Jesus. Again, that's...
Are we just going to sit here and silently watch my own video? I don't mind a bit of free publicity. I think that was a pretty good video, to be honest. I'm quite proud of that one, but kind of awkward.
For you to decide. Regardless, these are two incompatible stories because they place Jesus' birth at different times in history. Any apologetic attempt to deny this is folly. There's a reason
Let's see the folly. Come on.
that apologetic scholars think that Luke just made an error. The best you might hear is that the Herod referred to in Matthew is actually Herod's son, Herod. But Quirinius wasn't appointed until after that Herod's exile anyway, so no dice. Now this is a great time and place to do your own side-by-side comparison if you are so inclined.
That was the end of that point, Kent. That was the end of that bit. Are you going to talk about it? He's just watching my video silently. What a fun live stream.
Only Matthew and Luke tell the story of the Nativity, and the content in both varies wildly. I'll pause here for a moment so you can sharpen those doubtlessly blunt pencils. I will now do a very...
I'm so fun. Aren't I fun? Look at my video and then look at Kent. This is his stream. He's just watching my video with his headphones on going,
Very quick rundown for you. So go I can't see, just felt right. In the Gospel of Luke, an angel appears to Mary. In the Gospel of Matthew, an angel appears to Joseph. As mentioned, Luke contains the census of Quirinius. Fucking Quirinius. Get a better name. As we just established, Luke contains the census of Quirinius. Then Mary and Joseph travel to Bethlehem from Nazareth. Matthew doesn't mention the census of Jesus is just born in Bethlehem. There he is. In Luke, we then have the adoration of the shepherds in Bethlehem. In Matthew, we have no shepherds and instead 3 magi. Although actually, it specifies a number of magi. We just assume there are 3 magi because they need 3 gifts. Kind of interesting side fact on the assumptions we make about these stories without actually reading them properly. You may know them as wise men or 3 kings. We need 3 kings of Orient are. One in a taxi, one in a car. The magi go to see Herod in Jerusalem.
We're just watching my whole... There's nothing... I've got nothing to say because he's not saying anything. There's not even anybody in the chat saying anything. The only comment, apart from the people running the show, has been somebody saying, is she trying to be a vampire? To which I can only say, I'm not trying to be a vampire. Don't be vampirist.
Jerusalem. Now nothing, they want to see the baby who's going to be the king of Jews, which makes Herod very nervous. Then in Matthew, we have the adoration of the magi in Bethlehem. Joseph, Mary, made Jesus flee to Egypt to escape persecution of Herod. Then proceeds to massacre the innocents, as it is known. The story which he orders the execution of every male child under 2 years old in Bethlehem. Then Herod dies. And if this I haven't mentioned Luke for a while, it's because none of this happens in Luke's telling of the story. The Gospel of Matthew is the only place in the Bible that mentions the massacre of the innocents fleeing to Egypt. I will also briefly mention that there is no historical evidence for those things, because it's no about intertextual contradictions, not historical contradictions, but he's like noting that alongside the fact.
This is nothing. I have nothing to work with here. I have nothing to do. In a way, this is satisfactory in that it really reaffirms my decision not to review more Whack and Atheist streams, because there's nothing to fucking say. He's just sat there occasionally going... We did the whole section about when was Jesus born, and I assumed he was going to answer the when was Jesus born section, but he didn't. He just let the video play into the whole next, and I put chapters in that video. Kent, like, you can easily see when one bit ends and the next bit starts. Although, as we know, he doesn't have a very good grasp of computers or internet technology, which is not something I would make fun of someone for, except for when they are running a regular live stream, because it's just a bit embarrassing. Like, this is just like, yeah, I think this was a good video. Watching this again through the lens of Kent Hovind's new channel just reaffirms my confidence in that video and how I feel it was a pretty nice, succinct, like, introduction to intertextual contradictions. I gave the apologist perspectives on some of the contradictions. I gave the historical perspective. Nobody, Kent included, has anything to say except that I'm pale. This is embarrassing.
It does the book a disservice. Next up.
Okay. This is another one of her supposed contradictions. She's got...
No, that was many contradictions. That was one contradiction, the birth of Jesus, and then here's a short list of all of the many contradictions in the birth of Jesus narrative. Maybe the reason that he just stopped and stared at it for a while is because his soul, like, left his body and he just, like, went brain dead for a couple of minutes of that. Jesus shed his blood to save us. Vampires shed our blood to destroy us. By Big Bible 007. That's a really funny comment.
It's got a whole bunch of them, so I'm just going to one by one do them all.
Thank you.
That pose too. Okay, let's see. Let's go back
That is a good pose. I think I look very cool. One time somebody said that I exude charisma when I'm leaning on my chair, and I really like that. That gave me a big self-confidence boost.
Here, and go to slide number 162.
It is the slides.
She says, does the Bible contradict itself? Yes, and this is another one of her supposed contradictions. By the way, Emma, you're encouraged to call in to the program tonight, or anytime, okay?
Bless him, does he think I watch his live streams? That's so sad.
Let's see. Does the Bible contain contradict...
No offense, Ken. I've got a life. I've got a busy life. And so far this has been deeply unsatisfying as a thing to respond to. What would I call in about at this point? All he's done is watch my video. Hey, Ken, did you enjoy the video? See you later.
Actions. Let me get over here.
Thank you for showing all my views and subscribers on screen.
And, no, I want to be over here. There we go. Okay. Emma, a lot of people watch your stuff, and many are going to be influenced to turn away from God and his free gift of salvation.
Kent, a few people watch your stuff, and they're going to be deceived into being anti-science. They may be led to abuse children or their spouses. They may be deceived into thinking that certain tax avoidances and financial crime are okay. You will be held accountable on God's Judgment Day. Between me and Kent, who do you think will suffer the worst judgment on Judgment Day? Me, who is someone who has a deep fascination with the Bible, who has a love of a lot of the Bible, and wants to study it from an objective, a-religious, historical perspective, using the latest scholarly arguments and historical arguments. Or Kent, the violent spousal abuse, tax evading, financial crime riddled, moron who has been disproven on every topic he's ever commented on, who has been thrashed in hundreds of debates, who brags and takes such joy and glee from making racist little jokes, from spreading homophobic conspiracy theories and generally being a bigot. Who do you think will suffer the worst fate on Judgment Day? Me, for being an atheist, or Kent, for being a violent, bigoted, evil person? Oh, I guess I do think he's evil. I guess when it came out naturally, it turns out I do think he's an evil person, actually. Thank you for this introduction, though. I thought we were going to talk about the contradictions that I posed and not how I'm going to hell. But, you know.
You'll be held accountable for this Judgment Day. I suggest you use your influence to draw people to the Lord, and maybe come to the Lord yourself, okay?
It'd be weird if I did it the way round that he said. Like, I started by trying to draw people to the Lord, whilst I still didn't believe in him.
So, when was Jesus born is this topic.
That's quite a cute picture of me. That's much better than the other screenshots. When was Jesus born?
Herod died in 4 BC. BC. They use BCE, before the Common Era. Forget all that. BC, before Christ, okay? I'm still old school. According to
Oh, we know you're old school, my friend. We know it.
Luke chapter 2, something happened. She's talking about Caesar Augustus' census. She covered all this, okay? Of Syria, which would have been around 6 BCE. That's 10 years apart.
Uh-huh.
Emma, listen to me carefully. Watch me, okay? From 4 BC to 6 BC is 2 years, not 10.
So this is my fault for just making a mistake in the video. If Kent claims to know the Bible and be interested in the Bible and any of the historicity of this, he should have noticed this error and known that I had simply misspoken. Quirinius was the governor from 6 CE. So I think that Kent should have known that, and that him just taking the piss out of the numbers and saying that's only 2 years apart reflects the fact that he didn't think to fact check that, and he doesn't know any better. He clearly doesn't know his Bible very well, because he's taking my mistake here. You know, I just can't take 4 away from 6, rather than that I've misspoken one of the years. It's 4 BCE to 6 CE, which is in fact 10 years. So I will take the blame for misspeaking, because that's my fault. But it says a lot about how much Ken actually knows the Bible that he didn't pick up on that. He just thinks I can't do basic addition.
Because they place Jesus' birth at different times in history. Well, Emma, only one of the stories is talking about Jesus' birth. Read it carefully, okay? Matthew chapter 2. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and did so search out for the young child. He sent the wise men to Bethlehem to find the young child, who was 2 years old at the time. This isn't his birth. None of this story is about his birth, okay?
That's a rebuttal that I haven't heard and hadn't expected, so I think that's interesting, and I will actually, because this is a really funny argument that I have never heard because no one's ever made it before. Matthew, chapter 1, verse 18. The birth of Jesus Christ. Now the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. This isn't about the birth of Jesus Christ. The story in Matthew is not about the birth of Jesus. It took place when he was 2. This is so funny as well. The reason nobody's ever made that statement is because these two periods of time are 10 years apart. But because he's taken my misspoken number as fact, he's actually presenting this as a 2-year gap. I've influenced a conspiracy theory, a religious conspiracy theory of Kent Hovind's. That's so fucking funny. Do you realize how fucking stupid and intellectually dishonest that is? That he's using my incorrect data to pretend that this is the case. If you've never seen anything of Kent Hovind's before, you will be fucking aghast right now. But unfortunately, that is genuinely what he's like. I presume part of this as well is because of Herod ordering the execution of all children under 2. So this took place when he was a young child, about 2. If that was the case, it still wouldn't match up. The timelines would still not work. God, that's embarrassing, dude.
In Matthew, that I may bring me word that I can come worship him.
Yeah, I don't want you to read all these out, because
so you're right, you can't.
It's just going to waste time.
And in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time he told him. We saw this star 2 years ago. We've been following that star for 2 years. We finally got here. Traveling by camel from Persia, or wherever it was. Most people think Persia, which Iran, has a long walk by camel, okay? They followed the star for a long time. So Emma,
2 years? Okay, the internet is telling me that it would have taken about 2 months, 4 or 5 months, certainly not 2 years. I guess he's just picked that to fit into this 2-year timeline, because that doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't have taken them 2 years.
said, regardless, these are two incompatible stories. Emma,
Yes.
you're right, because they're not the same thing. Any apologetic attempt to deny this is folly. Well, there you're crazy, okay? Only Matthew and Luke tell the story of the Nativity. No, Emma. Matthew does not tell the story of the birth of Jesus.
Shall I just closed my Bible, but I suppose I'll do it again. Now the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. Even if it took them 2 years somehow to get from Persia to Nazareth or whatever the fuck, they would still be incompatible. And this is still the nativity story. This is a very bizarre way to challenge that contradiction, which is, I guess, why I didn't find that in any of my research as to the apologetic arguments. Very bizarre.
Jesus was born, the shepherds came. 2 years later, the wise men came. And they were not in the manger anymore. All these Christmas scenes with the 3 wise guys coming to the manger are stupid, okay? They were
I
in
agree.
a house. I'll show you.
Oh, we agree on something. Those displays are stupid.
And the content is in both varies wildly.
Content.
Yep, you're right. Emma, there are no contradictions about the birth of Jesus. Luke 2 covers his birth and 2 years later their flight to Egypt. Apparently Joseph stayed there in Bethlehem. Maybe they're too poor to move back, or he got a carpentry job. Jesus was born there. Maybe they had family there because he was from Bethlehem originally. And worked there for 2 years till the wise men showed up, and then the angel said, get out of town.
This is all just the same thing that I said in the video, which is just this bizarre way of just saying, well, both stories must be true, so I'm just going to guess at 500 different things. Maybe he did this and maybe he did that. I don't care about your maybes because I'm interested in what the author was saying within the text.
You're reading books about contradictions. You're not finding these on your own, Emma. You haven't read the Bible one time in your life.
I haven't read the Bible one time in my life. Fucking never. I've never read a Bible. What even is a Bible? Given Kent having adopted my mistake in this video, I'm not convinced he's ever read the Bible once in his life. Maybe like Baby's First Bible, some sort of hardback children's book. Bath-proof children's book. It's got SpongeBob on the front.
Call in.
That was it. That was the contradiction that he decided to talk about. The difference in the birth of Jesus between Matthew and Luke. Went about it wrong from the beginning because he adopted my mistake to prove his point, which is the funniest fucking thing in the world. That's Kent Hovind, everybody. Rude, incompetent, creator of the worst slideshows you've ever seen, utterly incomprehensible. It's great to see that there is almost nobody engaging in the live chat. There have been 1 or 2 people saying hi, and then people that work there saying hi back and sharing links. The absolute funniest thing for me about all of this is that the comment at the top of the comments section is somebody misattributing a quote to Winston Churchill. Do you have enemies? Good. That means that you have stood up for something. Not only is that not the quote, like it's not an accurate copy of the quote that is supposed to be attributed to him, but Winston Churchill never said that. That is actually a commonly misattributed quote. It was from an essay by Victor Hugo about 2 years earlier, and it's written much more eloquently than the quote that is attributed to Winston Churchill. He said, "You have enemies? Why, it is the story of every man who has done a great deed or created a new idea. It is the cloud which thunders around everything that shines. Do not bother yourself about it, disdain. Keep your mind serene as you keep your life clear." So I thought that was really fucking funny. And also that bad people and evil people also have enemies, because they are evil people. In fact, the people with the most enemies typically are horrible, horrible people. If you made it this far, I'd be very grateful if you would listen to this special plea. Don't go to his channel. Don't go to his channel. Don't watch his live streams. It's very kind of people to let me know that he's talking about me and to be interested in those videos. I think that I appreciate that there is a sort of contradiction with what I'm doing here, although I think I've explained my reasons for that pretty well. He just doesn't warrant the attention, except for hopefully maybe bringing YouTube's attention to the fact that he's ban evading and his channel was terminated. Don't give him the attention, don't give him the views, he thrives on it. The less popularity he gets, the better. Don't watch him, don't subscribe to the channel. There is nothing there. That was not interesting, that was not entertaining, it was complete stupidity. Hopefully I was able to make it entertaining, but what he gave us was Nothing. Thank you very much for watching. Do leave me your thoughts down below. Engagement always helps. Give it a like. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you haven't seen my old videos on Kent Hovind and you want to learn a bit more, do go and check those out. Chances are high that he will see this and respond to it because that's just more content for him. I don't care. You don't need to let me know. If you want people to know, then put it in the comments here so I at least get some engagement for it. How will history remember Kent Hovind? As a criminal. As a criminal, as a liar, as an evil, evil man. And I'm doing everything I can to ensure that that is what happens. Watch this space. Thank you very much for watching. Do check out my gaming channel if you want to see more from me. Little Duck Gaming, we have a lot of fun over there. I post 2 times a week. It's just a chill vibe. If you want some downtime from any of the stress, it's super nice. Likewise on Twitch, I'm a Little Duck. I'm live 2 or 3 times a week. We play some silly games, we have a chill time, you can laugh at me for being bad, you can bet on how much I'm gonna die in a lot of the games. I have a bio link down below that has all of my links in it. You can find everything in the description. Thank you so much for all your support. The best way to support this channel is via the Patreon. So with that, I must give a big old thank you and a shout out to my giant chickens and colossal quackers over on Patreon. Especially Connla. God damn it, Connla. Most importantly, have yourselves a very lovely week, and I will see you really soon.